He couldn't give us it. Kentaro Miura couldn't give us it. Guys, this has to be one of the most disappointing chapters of Berserk. Now, hear me out, okay? I really enjoyed the chapter of Berserk. I thought it was really good, but at the same time, this specific chapter of Berserk just disappointed me and pissed me off to the extreme, because it's just, let me explain why, okay? It was a good chapter, but nonetheless, it pissed me off, and let me explain why. The thing is that we have been waiting for this moment for ages in Berserk to finally see Casca be revived, right? And to finally get her sanity back. And along with that, the reunion with Guts, right? And this chapter, it started off with such high hopes, and I was so happy that Casca was finally back. She was even able to recognize Farnese and Shirake, you know, despite being the fact that she really couldn't think or feel as Elaine, you know, which is technically her, you know, what they were calling her back then, before they knew her as Casca. Casca necessarily was all the way back in her very own subconscious, but she couldn't think or feel, you know, for her own sake. She was simply a walking doll. But despite this, at the end of the day, Casca was still Casca, and she was actually able to retain some of those memories and keep those along with her in her travels. She remembers Shirake. She remembers Farnese. She remembers the adventures that Guts and everyone has gone on. You know, there's several points within this chapter in which we even see she even has a recollection of the Moonlit Child and, you know, like the people that were taking Guts along his journey, you know, with the whole boat scene and whatnot. I can't remember the characters' names, but forgive me on that. But, like, there are several instances in which Casca remembers things, but only vaguely. But the one thing that just really irked me about this chapter is that while I was happy that she finally was able to, you know, finally get her sanity back, retain some of her memories, even if it was only vaguely, you know, and we still got to see, you know, Casca prosper into this, you know, goddess, necessarily, you know, finally celebrating, you know, her return. We even have, like, the queen of the elves, you know, give her a new sort of, you know, appearance, because her rough attire was not something to be desired, right? You know, and she looks like a straight up goddess. The queen elf says that she is literally, you know, she looks like a dark elf, a dark high elf or some shit like that. And I'm just like, yo, I'm getting so excited to see just Casca this way. But then the most disappointing thing about this chapter happens. The one thing that irked me was as soon as Casca was able to see Guts, tragedy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is to be expected in Berserk. It was to be expected that, you know, no matter, when it comes down to reading Berserk, you can't get attached to certain things because of the fact that the good things only last for a certain amount of time in Berserk. And while these good things might last, they soon begin to crumble down. And that is exactly what happens by the end of this chapter of Berserk. As soon as Casca sees Guts face to face, before even Guts has time to react to seeing Casca, she remembers the eclipse. Everything that happened. Griffith. And just what she went through. Oh my god. It's like this wasn't a bad chapter of Berserk, but you gotta admit, while it was, you know, something that, you know, we enjoy as Berserk fans, it's just, this is incredibly disappointing. It is an incredibly disappointing chapter of Berserk, not because it's bad, but because of just what happens within the content. And it just pisses me off, man, because I just wanted to see the reunion. I wanted to see the reunion. Finally, Guts getting some sort of happiness. Casca, you know, seeing her happiness now that she got her sanity and remembers exactly who Guts is. But the thing is, this is exactly what the Skull Knight was talking about. Your happiness might not be her happiness. Because as soon as, you know, she saw you, that is when her memories begin to click and they begin to flood as to everything that has happened, and what literally broke her is probably gonna break her again. And that's essentially the omen that Skull Knight, you know, brought forth to Guts. It's that, you know, most likely, even if you search this out and she manages to get her sanity back, you might hold on to that happiness for some time. But your happiness might not be her happiness at the end of the day. And she might not come to terms to accept that, because, honestly, Guts is such a strong-willed individual that he has been able to handle stuff like this and what has happened to him in his life. But when it comes to someone like Casca, if she could not handle this the first time, you know, she literally went brain dead. She did by Griffith. So now that she finally sees Guts and remembers the eclipse and everything else, what's keeping her from going brain dead yet again? You know, it's just, she might, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, this is such an incredibly disappointing chapter of Berserk. It's just something that I don't know what to say. It's ridiculous. And to top off the disappointment, we also have an announcement at the end of this chapter of Berserk. Let me read it to you right now. I'll put a screenshot on the screen so you guys can see what I'm reading. But an article states that the Berserk manga is to go on hiatus yet again. With the release of Berserk manga chapter 351, it was announced that the Berserk manga will go on hiatus and will return sometime in winter. Pictures of early manga surfaced, and taking an early look at the next issue of manga magazine Young Animal, out in Japan on June 23rd, revealed the start of the latest hiatus from chapter 351, and a scheduled return by winter, which in fact did happen. However, later on, the 22nd of December, the manga made its return, and now Berserk is announcing yet again another hiatus, with chapter 355, which happens to be this chapter. So, to leave us off like this, Kentaro Miura, getting this chapter, and then you doing this, I mean, let's be honest here, a hiatus was bound to happen. We got 4 chapters at most, right? Because technically we started off with chapter 351, and now we're at 355. So we got 4 chapters. You know, it's probably better than hiatus x hiatus, and I know someone's gonna, you know, comment down below and rant on me because of that. Let's be honest though, like, at least Berserk is putting out some chapters, but it's just to show this, like, just the treatment that you're giving your audience, Kentaro Miura. You're shafting them. You know, we've been waiting for the reunion. We've been waiting for the reunion. And then you show us this chapter, and then you also give the announcement that Berserk is going on another hiatus. Quite disappointing. It is disappointing. Whether you look at it one way or the other, it's disappointing. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about this chapter of Berserk and your personal thoughts and opinions on the whole matter of just, you know, Berserk going on another hiatus. I mean, let's be honest, it was to be expected. It was inevitable that this was going to happen. But to bring the hiatus, you know, right after this chapter is just, it's a huge slap in the face. It's a huge slap in the face. We couldn't even see a reunion play out. We couldn't even see that. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed. Hit that red subscribe button if you want to see more. And with that said, everyone, have a wonderful day. because mine just got really disappointing. It just got really disappointing.